Hola, mi gente. This is Jackie Nuñez for Latin Waves. Today I have a special guest, kind of a continuation from the last week that I had Tito Rodriguez Jr. Now I have his lead singer, Sammy Gonzalez. Jr., welcome.
Thank you so much for the invitation.
Oh, my pleasure.
Okay, it's an honor. It's an honor to be here and to follow the footsteps of Tito's interview. I don't know how we're going to do this. So,
well, you have an interesting career yourself. So I don't even know at this point where to start because you are the legislator of...
Yes,
so
I am.
We'll go politically first.
Okay.
How did you get into politics?
Listen, I'm going to fast forward because in 2012, my daughter program, BOCES program,
Yes.
was going to be cut from a 2 to a 1 year program. And then she came home crying. And so I started to advocate for my daughter and many of the other students. I called at the time in 2012, I called the elected officials in 2012.
Wow.
Here we are in 2022. I'm still waiting for them to call me. So
Wow.
that started my advocacy and my run to try to run for politics.
So what is your goal? What is your ultimate goal as a legislator? What is it that you want to pursue?
One of the main things is that I want to make sure that my community, which is high Latino, high minority, that we get an equal share, that we are treated equally like every other district, that we get the respect, that we get the jobs. We have corporations, we have companies that, are professional companies, certified companies, but never get the opportunity to bid on RFPs to help grow. And I know it's only because, they have their regulars, but people, minorities, Latinos, African Americans, Muslims, which is many in my community, and so forth, do not get that opportunity. And I said that once I get into office, which I tried 2 times before, failed, learned a lot, but the third time's a charm. And now 3 elections later, I'm here, but that's my goal, is to make everyone aware that we're here. Latinos, we're here.
Right.
And that's important to me.
Absolutely. And thank you for your service to your community.
Thank you.
Because I see you do a lot for the community.
Oh my God. Yes.
I have a picture of you with a little girl. I think she was a Girl Scout or something.
Yeah.
She had a uniform. I thought that was adorable.
Yeah.
So there are many things, and you do things for veterans as well. Tell us about that.
Yeah, we do. I do a lot of work with the veterans. Suffolk County is #1 in veterans that live in Long Island. And sometimes they're forgotten. Sometimes there's a lot of veterans that are homeless. And so that to me is so important. That to me is so important, that those individuals that were there for us and fought for our liberties, that how on earth can we not give back to them? How on earth can we not fight for them? And so when you see also the children, those are our future.
Absolutely.
And so, I've told them my story of how I grew up, and my struggles, and they relate to me. And that is important, because not only should we look out for the elderly, should we look out for those who were before us, that paved a lot of the roads for us, that we also do the same for the youth, that they know that we work, we help them achieve their goals. But the one thing I tell them is, do not forget where you came from. Come back and speak to the future so they can see, wow, that person was actually where I was. and I can do it. So the kids, very, very important that they know that.
They are our future.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. And what do you plan to do? What are your upcoming plans to help the community and help enforce, whether it's help enforce laws, help them gain access to better their businesses, their, the events and stuff like, how do you plan to help the community that way?
Well, we have to make sure that we put in smart laws. As a legislator, you vote on particular laws that other legislators put forward or they lay on the table. But if they do not work for your community, then there's a problem. So I will vote against that. But I would also put and lay on the table laws that are smart, that help not only all of Suffolk County, but help those in my district. That is so important to me because I think the minority community in Suffolk County has been neglected for some time. We are making changes. There are smart laws that are coming in, but we still have a lot to go.
So how do you fight the laws that are not advantageous for the community?
What we try to do is we'll set up some amendments to that particular law. So I'll put in, I'll lay on the table a amendment because there's a part of that law that maybe at the time they didn't think about, but it is affecting us. Example, there was a law in the books as a homeowner. An old law that said, and it was in their lease when they first signed along many years ago, that said you could not sell your home to an African American. It was in there. It was in the books.
Isn't that illegal?
Not back then. Okay? It was something that they fought for early on when they were building these homes. So when we got to that particular law that it was brought to my attention, we entered an amendment. It shed light when we put that in, that after all these years, that section was still there.
Wow.
And that to me frightened me. So now it was
technically
removed.
They would have to go by that if it still
if
existed.
it still existed. So
Wow.
not too many people knew that. So we removed it all across Suffolk County. That makes sense.
Thank God.
So there are people that come up to me and say, Sam, we need to do this. And if it makes sense, I will.
Now, I think you do a wonderful thing for the community, but I want to start talking about your music career.
Ay, bendito.
Exactly. Now, obviously now you sing with Tito Rodriguez Jr., but I want to go a little before then. You actually sang with a very dear friend of mine, Luis Ramirez.
Yeah,
Was
7
it Luis
years.
Ramirez y sus amigos? Was it that?
Luis Ramirez y sus amigos.
Wow.
Um,
I think you recorded with him, right?
I recorded 2 albums with him. Louis gave me my break. I was singing with local bands, a group by the name of La Herencia Latina back in the days with Ray Rico Rodriguez.
Wow.
May he rest in peace. But I remember playing with La Herencia at a wedding, and Louis was there. And so I remember 2 days later, I got a phone call saying from Roberto Rodriguez Jr., trumpet. He said, Sammy, Louis wants to talk to you. I go, Louis who? Louis Ramirez. I was like tongue-tied. I was nervous. I started to sweat. I said, sure, no problem. I get the phone call. He said, Sammy, I want you to learn some songs, and I want you to audition for me. And I go, Louis, sure. Where do you live? I live in so and so and so. He came by an hour later. Gives me a cassette. Cassette, guys. If nobody knows what that is, it's a little plastic, rectangular type of thing with a little ribbon inside there that played music back in the days. And so he said, learn these songs and come down and audition. I go, okay, where do you want me to go to audition? Well, today's Monday. We have a gig on Saturday at the Copacabana, the original Copacabana, the one on 61st Street.
61st.
And he says, that's your audition. I'm like,
That sounds like Louis.
you want me to play at the Copacabana, my friend? So I just got on that cassette. I think that the thread or whatever it's called, the little tape there was like stretched out. And so there I go. We go up on stage. I did my first set. We go back into the dressing room, and I'm anxiously waiting for Luis Ramirez to tell me yes or no. And I can see myself perspiring from the mirror, and Louis leaves. And I was about to go, Louis, what? He just walked right by me, didn't even look at me. First thing I think about was, oh my God, I bombed. I bombed. Robert Rodriguez comes up to me and he says, Sam, welcome to the band. Mm-hmm. And all the musicians, one by one, they came in.
I knew if Louis didn't say
hand,
anything, it's because he liked it.
And then he comes back like 20 minutes later laughing. So how you like the band? You know how Louis was.
Yes.
And what a guy. And 7 years later, before he got together again with Rey de la Paz for Otra Noche, Caliente, I was his singer for 7 years, and they were the best 7 years, I will tell you, in my early career. He gave me the opportunity where nobody would. We did Louis and Friends. I sang 2 songs on there.
En la madrugada.
Yeah, I'm so sorry, guys. And so, that was my introduction to Luis Ramirez. And we did so many gigs together. I remember one day we did 4 gigs in one night. I think we left the last club at 6 or 7 o'clock, no, 8 o'clock in the morning. We were going out, and I remember the senior women with their Bibles going to church, and I'm going, oh my God. And so I'll never forget him. He is my godfather in music. He gave me the opportunity when nobody else wanted to give me he says, and I remember Tito Allen going up to Louis and going, hey, he said, he's brand new. You're going to give him the opportunity to sing? And Louis goes, yep. Mm-hmm. And the rest was history 7 years later.
That's amazing. Why do you suppose Louis didn't get the recognition that he solely deserved? Because he was an outstanding arranger, composer, musician, played just about everything.
He was an outstanding individual. I don't know. I think that will always be a mystery on why. Because the creator of romantic salsa, many people think that Frankie or Santiago or these guys were the originators of romantic salsa. And it was Louis Ramirez.
Well, Louis was the only one known to make romantic salsa with a lot of swing.
Absolutely, especially with the vibes.
Exactly.
It was just unbelievable.
And he's also one of the creators of the Boogaloo.
Exactly. So this man was a genius. That's why they called him El Genio.
El Genio, which is the album you recorded on, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember doing an English for tribute to Cal Jada, Good Night, My Love,
Good Night, My Love. I play
on
that
that,
all the time on my radio
because that was
show.
the,
Yes.
and the Latin nightclub scenes,
They
that
loved
was
it.
like the last song before, closing the bar, Good Night, My Love.
Yes.
And that to me was,
And he
you
played the
know,
vibes on that. It was
oh, he played the
absolutely
vibes on
beautiful.
that. And I remember meeting Frankie Crocker.
Wow.
Frankie talked to Louis Ramirez and said, yo, you should do this in Latin music. And Louis did it. And Frankie used to play that as his last song of the night.
It's funny.
I think it was WBLS.
BLS. Mm-hmm.
And, well, I'm showing my age. I'm sorry.
I know about that.
Okay. And so I'm telling you, to have started with a man like that, to have started with a genius, I will never forget him. I will always give him the credit.
And he was called the Quincy Jones of salsa.
Oh, he was.
Now, let's fast track. Now you also sang with Johnny Ray.
Yes.
Tell me about that experience.
It is a unique experience. Working with a gentleman like Johnny. I got a call from the Pope the other day that I am one miracle away from sainthood. And so, but I do have to say something about Johnny. Johnny has been one of the hardest people working individuals in show business. He knows how to get his records out. He knows every year he puts something new, stay relevant,
Yeah. He always managed to get the good or the great musicians to record.
Absolutely.
And he's very good with that.
And very commercial.
Yes.
Very, very, very commercial. I've had the opportunity on and off to be to have worked with Johnny Ray for, I think, 26 years, 26 and a half years.
God bless
Because
you.
I've been with Tito Rodriguez Jr.
No, of course.
My brother. It will not go on again, I promise. This lets me know that I've been talking too much again. And so, working with Tito has just been an honor.
Now, you've guys done some great venues from
my God.
all over the world, Rome, Italy, even LA and West Coast.
We've traveled Europe, we've traveled to France, to Rome, to Milan, Germany, London. We've been all over the world, I think 3 times over. I'm on my 5th passport anyway.
Wow.
But the big band sound is what intrigues me. It's what people enjoy.
Yes.
It is something that to see 16-piece orchestra or a 18-piece orchestra is unbelievable. And the thing is, when you go play out in Europe, you and I had a conversation not too long ago, and you start to sing, and the crowd is singing your songs, is because they've had an impact with that recording.
Why do you think, and I've asked Tito this question as well, our music is more prevalent in places like that than it is here? And what do you think we can do to change that?
I think here we take it for granted.
Yes.
I think we take it for granted. I think we have to educate our youth. What I haven't seen too much of is parents putting the education in of what is un asopao, qué es un sancocho, cómo se hace un pastel, los pasteles, you know, of going to their native land, to go to Puerto Rico and say, mira, estamos en la finca.
They don't teach them our culture,
We do
our
not
history.
really teach them our culture.
Yes.
And if we're not really teaching them our culture, many of our kids don't even speak the language.
Sure.
They'll speak Spanglish. And because of things like that, it has moved on to our music. They're more interested in reggaeton.
Sure.
They're more interested in el merengue, and everything else, except what it really means to listen to a machito. What it is to listen to a Tito Rodriguez, la música de Tito Puente. That's missing.
Very much so.
It's missing, and we lose that. Because if you listen to those yesteryears, I will tell you, the music is unbelievable.
Yes, it is. I want to congratulate the band, Tito, yourself. I am part of the East Coast Music Hall of Fame, and congratulations on the nomination. I
Thank
look
you.
forward to seeing you guys in June.
Yes, absolutely.
And, well, we'll see what happens, right? But now this music how do you think we can proceed from here? I see you guys did the New Millennium, the Palladium in the New Millennium.
Correct.
And I understand you're going to Puerto Rico.
Yes.
And is this because of what happened that day at Lehman?
I'm going to tell you absolutely. I think that they saw something that hasn't been seen in a long time. The combination, the musicality, the professionalism of Tito and Mario, and the orchestration, the big band sound. This type of music on that particular day expanded many of the promoters. And so yes, Puerto Rico, we're looking at California, we're getting calls from Colombia. And so this is generating, it's just getting huge. And it's also great because we can show la música del Palladium.
Palladium years now.
Because
Sure.
if you look at the dancers today, yeah, they'll dance to the new music, but they'll always gravitate back
To the original.
to the original.
Absolutely. And why
And
not
we
bring
need-
it back?
Exactly. And we need to do that. We need to educate. We need to make sure, you know?
What are your plans musically? I mean, do you ever plan on recording yourself? Because
Oh my God, there's so many people that keep asking me this question. I'm having fun.
between that and writing a book, which one's coming first?
I think the book. I think the book is going to come before. Yeah, I have been thinking about doing a recording, you know, on my own, with the blessing of Tito, of course. That's the respect that I have for Tito Rodriguez Jr. I would want him to
He
assist
must
me
commend you on
and
your
producing-
loyalty.
and producing my first album, which I want him to be part of. And so that in the future. Right now, we're making some great music. There's not too many people that have been together with a band leader for 25, 26 years.
I must say
nonstop.
you represent Tito Rodriguez very well.
Thank you.
And
Thank you. That means
it
a lot
was
to me.
he was one singer that no one could ever come close to.
And
But
and
with
you
all
still,
due respect,
and they still can.
you're right.
It's just that
He was a class of his own.
he was a superstar all on his own. All I wanted to do is to try and sing his music well, not impersonate Tito Rodriguez, but the classiness and the articulation, the professionalism in the way he performed and the way that he sang. No one will ever be able to imitate
right.
Tito Rodriguez.
That's right.
But if I can just consistently go and do this and you know, make him proud, I think I must be doing something right, because
you're
25
still
years
there,
later.
20, yes.
Yeah.
And I want to thank you for representing Tito Rodriguez very well. And I
My
want to thank
pleasure.
you for having this interview with me. We got to do this
Anytime,
again.
absolutely, absolutely.
We got a political side and we have a musical side. So
But Tito, thank you. Thank you for giving me the opportunity.
Tito
Thank
Rodriguez.
you for allowing me to write my own music and allowing to record many of my songs. I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Tito.
Well, this is Jackie Nuñez for Latin Waves, and thank you. Have a great night.